since my hair and makeup still look decent after being on set for a movie all day today, I figured like it was a good day to talk about the upcoming Venus retrograde. When this video is out, Venus retrograde might have already started because I'm only filming this a few days before, but either way, Venus retrograde is right around the corner. And you know, you might be getting back together with an ex depending on your chart, or breaking up with someone depending on your chart, but for a lot of you, it's not going to be that dramatic. So if you're excited to get into what we can expect for this upcoming Venus retrograde 2025, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you are always up to date with what the stars have in store for you. If you're new here, hi, I'm Maren. I make videos about astrology, and I have courses and other content linked below at my passes if you would like to get a hold of that. And I have music coming out this year, depending on when you're seeing this. I'm working on it. So first we're going to get into what this Venus retrograde represents and how it's going to play out over the upcoming dates of March 1st to April 12th when it's happening, and then we'll get into what it means specifically for you based on your rising sign. So retrograde planets mean that it looks like they are going backwards. Planets cannot literally go backwards, like planets orbit the way they orbit, but all planetary orbits are a little different. Venus is a little bit different than Mars is in reference to our planet. For example, all planets orbit the sun differently. So from our vantage point, depending on our location and the planet's location, it can appear like that planet is moving backwards. When it looks like it's moving backwards, that is what a retrograde is. And just FYI, a planet can never be in retrograde. It is literally retrograde or it is not. Think of retrograde like the word backwards. It cannot be in backwards. It is either backwards or it's not. Rant over. Just do not ever say in retrograde or out of retrograde for that matter. When a planet is retrograde, its significations and its meaning become inverted or kind of the flip side of it. So for example, Venus represents love, harmony, beauty, and relationships, the things we love and adore in life. When Venus is retrograde, it means that we're reconsidering those things, redoing things that have to do with that in our lives, or we're having a different perspective on those things. If it were Mars retrograde, as it is right now, which I'm ready for it to be over, it's more about rethinking what we're putting effort in or rethinking what we are resolving. If it was Mercury retrograde, which it will be during part of this later on, unrelated, but it will be retrograde. Mercury retrograde is more about rethinking communication or having communication issues that come up that we have to resolve. So Venus retrograde largely is going to show rethinking your relationship, rethinking your money and your investments, and rethinking what is valuable to you. It's not bad. Venus is not a planet that is bad. It is always going to refer to things that we like and enjoy. If this retrograde were in a more challenging position, it could show more challenging events, but this retrograde is really not making challenging aspects close by degree or really close at all. This retrograde doesn't look bad. Just gonna say it. It does not look like a bad retrograde. However, retrogrades are annoying nonetheless because they mean a change of perspective or situation. So for some of you, this is gonna be pretty significant. It could show getting back together with someone or rethinking your relationship. But for a lot of you, it's gonna be an area of your life you're rethinking what you want. You're rethinking what you care about. And that's gonna be a lot of people just kind of in the background. It will hit 4 signs the hardest. So if you're not someone who has placements in these 4 signs, you're probably not really gonna feel this a ton. But this retrograde is in Aries from March 1st to 26th. So Aries placements are definitely feeling it for the first 3 weeks. Then March 26th to April 12th, it is back in Pisces. So Pisces placements are really gonna feel this as well. If you have placements in either Aries or Pisces, just know that this is gonna be a time of you guys specifically rethinking your love, your values, and what you hold really close to in your life. Venus also rules Taurus and Libra. So anytime Venus is retrograde, Taurus and Libra placements will probably feel a general slowdown or rethinking of the way they're living their lives. So like I said, this is going to start in Aries from March 1st to 26th, which means that the Venus retrograde is going to have a lot of Aries qualities. Venus in Aries is about independence and doing what you yourself as an individual want and what you feel drawn to. It's a very independent and self-serving Venus placement, which is not bad. It's just a little different than other Venus placements. So Venus retrograde in Aries in that first 3 weeks is going to have to do a lot with rethinking what you independently want and what you yourself said that you were driving towards or said that you were going after. What do you really want? Just as yourself purely, what do you want? And it's a time of reconsidering that. During this time from the 11th to the 12th specifically, it's going to be conjunct Mercury. Whenever Venus and Mercury are together, it has a lot to do with saying something in a public speaking or in a conversational way to come across creatively. So with Venus retrograde and Mercury together, this is about going back to rethink or like restate something that you declared about yourself. It could be you putting out a different statement, perspective, point of view, or or literal creative project than you did previously about this matter in January or February. Then around the 22nd to the 24th, the sun is going to join Venus and Mercury. They're all going to be pretty close together during this part of March, but specifically the 22nd to the 24th with the sun joining Venus and Mercury, that is going to provide a lot of clarity, rationale, and understanding of what it is that you are landing on in regards to what you personally want for what you're rethinking or reconsidering. This is kind of like the end point for that part of the Venus retrograde, is that clarity. Then March 26th until April 12th, Venus moves back into Pisces, and the great news here is that Venus is exalted in Pisces. Venus does great there, meaning that even though it's retrograde, you're going to have positive things happen through this, and you're going to have some things come out of this that you're really thankful for, and you're getting along better with others. Specifically, March 26th to the 31st, Venus is going to conjoin Neptune and the North Node in Pisces. This already happened in late January with Venus and the North Node and Neptune together, but with Venus retrograde, it shows returning to something really positive, emotional, and uplifting, maybe spiritual, that you had going on in your life in late January, and you're going back to add further to that, reconsider something, or go deeper in something that was already really positive. This is overwhelmingly, generally spiritually uplifting astrology, even though Venus is retrograde, which can show a reconsideration, a redo, or going inward. Venus and Neptune together is beautiful. Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. It's about spirituality, whereas Venus is about more day-to-day pleasure, and the North Node exacerbates or increases these things. So the end of March is a really, really positive time for going back to touch on things that are already something positive in your life in a spiritual and uplifting way. This is also going to trine Mars in Cancer, which shows that you're able to act or take effort and put work into what you're literally going after in a spiritual sense here. So overall, in general, Venus retrogrades are not bad. They're not unwanted. Actually, they can be unwanted because a lot of times we don't want to slow down, but they're not a time that shows necessarily a breakup or losing money. That will depend on your chart and what it's hitting. It's mostly going to show a reconsideration of the area of life that it's happening in your chart in terms of values, relationships, and what you are investing in. Sometimes that is a romantic relationship, and if it's in your 5th or 7th houses, as I'll get into, it could show getting back with an ex or leaving your current relationship. For a lot of people, it's just going to show that like you go back to look at the bookkeeping or you rethink how you're decorating your home, for example. So if you already have any thoughts or any preparations that you are doing for this Venus retrograde, let me know in the comments below how you're feeling. So now we're going to get into what this means for each of the rising signs. Know that this can change or be more positive or negative depending on your chart. This is going to show the area of life, but whether this is great for you or really shitty for you is going to depend on what planets you have in these houses. Like I said, Aries or Pisces planets are going to be hit the hardest and most personally. Taurus and Libra are going to feel the slowdown, and this is the area of life that you can expect this in. If you have a lot of planets there, it could be more or less personal for you. So Aries risings, this is going to be between your 1st house of self and 12th house of mental health, meaning that it's going to start out mostly about your appearance, your personality, and reconsidering how you put yourself out into the world. And it's going to end up indicating a change or reconsideration of things that support your mental health, like therapy, psychiatry, meditation, yoga, anything like that is going to be what you end up reconsidering. If you were a Taurus rising, this is going to go between your 12th house of mental health and your 11th house of groups, friends, or networking. So it's going to start out as a reconsideration of what supports you in your mental health. What resources are you using? What are you resolving? What are you finding as a coping mechanism and not helpful? And it's going to end up going into your 11th house, which is more about reconsidering your social connections, who you want to go back and hang out with or who you don't anymore, and reestablishing who feels like your people. If you're a Gemini rising, this is in your 11th house of networking and friends, and then going into your 10th house of career. So it's going to start out as a reconsideration or rethinking of who you hang out with, whether you want to return to a group of people or change that significantly. And it's going to end up in your 10th house of career and professional life, which can mean that you decide to redo something you're creatively or professionally involved in that you want to be known for, go back and change something about your professional life and what you value, or it could show that you're just having to revise a project in kind of a strenuous way and you're redoing things or delayed. If you are a Cancer rising, this is going to go between your 10th house of career and 9th house of travel or education. So it's going to start out really emphasizing rethinking or going back to redo and dwell on things about your career. Could be that you're literally rethinking if you want to be in this field. Might be you're just having to redo a creative project, and it's going to end up in your 9th house of higher education or foreign travel. So you might end up rethinking travel plans, going to another country, or what you're learning learning or studying and how logistically you want to go about that. If you're a Leo rising, it's going to go between your 9th house of education and travel and your 8th house of investments. So it's going to start out with you reconsidering long distance or foreign travel plans. And this could also incorporate educational plans that you're rethinking or reconsidering if you want to do. And it's going to end up in your 8th house, which is about investments, shared assets, or just very deep, trustworthy matters with other people. And it could show that you're rethinking a deal, investing or trusting in someone, or shared information. If you are a Virgo rising, this is going to go between your 8th house of investments and your 7th house of committed relationship. So although it starts out being mostly probably about money that you're investing or sharing with another party and restructuring or rethinking that, it could also, in this case, be shared trust, shared just deep secrets or personal life and rethinking that. It's then going to end up in your 7th house, which is about relationships and specifically committed serious ones. This does not necessarily mean that you break up, but it could be that the manner of which you have a committed serious relationship is something you reconsider. Could also show something like a contract or legally binding document or situation with someone else being something that is redrawn, reconsidered, or delayed. If you were a Libra rising, this is going to start out in your 7th house of committed serious relationships and move into your 6th house of health and coworkers. So the first part of this retrograde, you're going to be rethinking your serious ties to another person, whether this is a partner romantically, a business partner, someone legally, or a good friend. You're probably either delayed in something like a contract or a proceeding, or you're literally reconsidering the situation in which you're tied to this person. Could mean a breakup, could mean that you restructure the way that you have time together. Depends on your chart. Then it will move into your 6th house, which is all about physical health and injuries. It could be you're rethinking health plans, you're rethinking medical decisions, you are rethinking how you take care of yourself, and it will also probably have to do with coworkers for some of you, or reconsidering the kind of people that you keep around you at work. If you are a Scorpio rising, this is going to start out in your 6th house of physical health or coworkers and move into your 5th house of dating and creativity. So it's going to start out a lot more like boring. It'll probably be about things that are more health related. You could be changing your health maintenance, your doctor plans, or things that you do to take care of yourself like diet or lifestyle. It could also show a flare up of something that requires more attention. It could also deal with reconsidering who works for you or you are working with, who you know is in the workplace with you. Then it's going to move into your 5th house, which is dating, romantic relationships, and creativity. Could also be kids. You're probably going to be rethinking who it is that you're dating, partying with, spending time with, or it might show that you're delayed or redoing a creative project, or also that you're reconsidering something that involves children, whether that is pregnancy or just children in your life unrelated to that. If you are a Sagittarius rising, this is going to start out in your 5th house of creativity and dating and move into your 4th house of home or family. So it starts out where you could be rethinking partners romantically, creative projects, or general partying and fun in your life. These things might be things that you either have to go and redo something about, or you are literally reconsidering if you want to invest in them. And then it'll move into your 4th house, which is about home, family, property. This could just be that you're moving, redecorating, or changing the amount of time that you spend at home. It could be that you are having some things to work out with your parents, or it could literally be like you're redoing your room. If you are a Capricorn rising, like me, this is going to start out in our 4th house of home or family and move into our 3rd house of communication and routine. So the first part of this retrograde will be about redecorating, renovating, or changing home or living situation. Could have to do with your parents, or it could deal with your roommates. Could also just be construction related. And then it'll move into your 3rd house, which is about communication, day-to-day work, or routines that you have. So you might be delegating your time differently, doing projects differently, or revising a written project. If you're an Aquarius rising, it's going to be between your 3rd house of routine and communication and projects and your 2nd house of income. So you're probably going to be dealing at first with redoing a project, rewriting something, or remanaging your schedule to be more productive. And then you'll get into reconsidering an income stream, the way that you make and spend money, and how you're managing your personal finances. And finally, if you're a Pisces rising, it's going to start out in your 2nd house of income and spending and money, and then it's going to move into your 1st house of self. So first part of this retrograde, you are rethinking money, you're rethinking your income stream, how you need to set up spending or saving money, and how you want to manage your overall finances. And it'll then move into your 1st house, which is all about you, your appearance, and your behavior, which means that you might find that you want to come across in a different aesthetic or personal way. So if you enjoyed this, and if you are at least feeling a little bit more prepared for this upcoming Venus retrograde, make sure that you like and subscribe to see more videos about the upcoming astrology, and let me know down below how you are feeling or what you are expecting personally based on your chart for this transit. I hope that you all have a nice to neutral Venus retrograde, and I will see you in the next one.